Diksha Mission JRF. This is the 52nd video of Diksha Mission JRF discussing previous year question papers of paper 1. Many videos on previous year question paper discussion of paper 1 is available in our online course. To get to know more about the online courses provided by Diksha, you can visit our page www.dikshaclassroom.com. So in this video, we are going to discuss the previous year questions that have appeared in the topic Teaching Aptitude of 2019 2nd December examination afternoon shift. So let's start.
Hello everyone, welcome to Diksha Classroom. So in this video of Mission JRF, we are going to discuss the teaching aptitude questions from the question paper 2nd December afternoon shift. So let's start. This is the first question which have appeared in the question paper of 2nd December 2019 afternoon shift. Mini summaries at the end of each class is called, 4 options are given: verbal breakup, cliched conclusion, verbal signposting, and staggered conclusion. So as we always do when answering the teaching aptitude questions, first you have to find out what is the key term is. Here the key term of the question is mini summaries. So what is mini summaries? These are the summary of a section or a particular presentation. It will enable the students to distinguish the main ideas from the details and also to create a record of what they have been listening. So this is the summary of a particular presentation. That is what mini summaries are. So here the question is about mini summaries at the end of class is called what? So a term which is related to mini summaries that you have to remember in this option is the verbal signposting or the signposting. A signpost is a verbal statement which is used to orientate the audience inside our speech or presentation or to show them where you are going as a presenter. A signpost draws in the audience's attention and aims to maintain their attention through the presentation or through a particular public speech. So a signpost is majorly used to give orientation for the audience about the presentation that is going on. So in essence, the verbal signpost paves a way to provide audience members with a simplified version of the important content of what we have presented. So mini summaries at the end of a class can be called as a verbal signposting, which is a summary used to orientate or to give orientation for the participants. That is what verbal signposting is, which can be considered as a function of or as a part of mini summaries or as a function of mini summaries. Whereas the other options, verbal breakup, cliched and staggered conclusions, cannot be regarded as mini summaries because it does not follow the function of summarizing. So the correct answer will be option C. Now moving to the next question, question number 2. In the context of classroom teaching, the foundation on which a warm and nurturing relationship with learners can be built is called probing, teacher effect, structuring, and feedback. So here the question is about warm and nurturing relationship with learners. So here the focus is about something emotional. So as you know, the answer will be connected to emotion. As we know, the only option which is related to an emotional thing is affect, because we know affect is a part of emotion. Affect can be synonymously used as a word for emotion. So teacher affect is somewhat related to warm and nurturing relationship, right? So what is teacher affect? Teacher affect refers to the measure of interest for the content of learning as an origin of students' motivation, and it is primarily related to emotional experiences which is shared by both a teacher and a learner. It consists of preserving the positive attitude in the classroom and in teacher-student relationships. So beyond academic factors which can affect a teaching learning process, it is more of an emotional thing, not like an academic aspect. So we can simply answer this question because here the question is focusing on the foundation on which a warm and nurturing relationship with learners can be built will definitely be teacher effect, as it is very much related to emotion. And the other options, probing, structuring, and feedback, are more connected with academic aspects rather than building a healthy bond or emotional bond between a teacher and a student. So the correct answer will be teacher affect. Then the next question, question number 3. Which of the teacher's voice in the classroom is described as linguistic, paralinguistic, non-linguistic, and macro-linguistic? So here the question is, which of the teacher's voice in the classroom? It is something which is related to communication in the classroom. One thing you have to remember about this particular question is that our body language, gestures, our facial expression, tone, pitch of the voice, all of these are examples of paralinguistic features. So here the question is about pitch, so which is clearly an example of paralinguistic. So pitch is a paralinguistic feature. If you are unfamiliar with the term paralinguistic, just listen. Paralinguistics are the features of spoken communication that do not involve words. So paralinguistic features does not involve any words. So the features will be not words in paralinguistic. So as we have discussed, our body language, our facial expression, repeat. So as we have discussed, our body language, the facial expression, our gestures, tone, and the pitch of the voice we use during a communication, all of these are examples of paralinguistic features. It is very significant when it comes to classroom communication, as they can change the message drastically. So the pitch we use, or the facial expression we hold, or the body language we have during communicating a particular message to the students has very significant influence on what we are communicating or what is the meaning of our communication. So paralinguistic is an essential feature in classroom communication. Now moving to the other options, we have to familiarize what are these terms, because you might get confused with linguistic, non-linguistic, and macro-linguistic, these terms with our paralinguistic thing. Linguistic, the first one, is the scientific study of language, including sounds or phonetics or phonology, or words like morphology, sentences, syntax, and meaning, semantics. You might be familiar with these terms: phonetics, morphology, syntax, semantics. So linguistic is involved in all of these things: phonetics, morpheme, syntax, and semantics. While the non-linguistic thing, non-linguistic means not using language or not using verbal material. So non-linguistic does not involve any words or language. That is simply, non-linguistic is the way of conveying information without using any language. Now, macro-linguistic. Macro-linguistic views languages from a broader perspective. It relates language to society and connects it to different types of sciences. So that is what macro-linguistic is. So here our question is about pitch of the teacher's voice in the classroom communication, which will definitely be a feature of paralinguistic. Now, moving to the next question, question number 4 of teaching aptitude. Which one of the following sequences correctly reflects the evolution of educational technology support in higher education? 4 options are given. I'm going to read it out. Option A, program learning material, textbook support, online and modular material. Option B, textbook supplementation, program learning material, modular material, and online methods. Option C, modular material, program learning, online and textbook supplementation. Option D, online methods, modular material, textbook supplementation, and program learning material. So in this question, you have to find out the correct sequence which reflect the evolution of educational technology support in higher education system. So which one is the correct sequence depicting the evolution of educational technology? Let's get a thorough idea about this. As we know, technology is growing fast and education field is quickly adapting to the technological resources. When considering the evolution of educational technology, it can be observed that for higher education, initially in the primary stages, people have used textbooks to learn about many things. So the primary educational tool used in the higher education system was textbook. So here the only option which depicting the first step as textbook supplementation is option B. Next comes the programmed learning. In the evolution, next comes the program learning. Here the learning material is in a kind of textbook or teaching machine or computer. Program learning material make use of all these things, textbook, computer or other teaching machines. Here the medium presents the material in a logical and tested sequence, systematical sequence. In each of these steps, a chunk of or a piece of information is shared with the student. And after each step, learners are given a question to test their comprehension, how much they have understood the concept. So after each step, their comprehension level is checked. Then immediately the correct answer is shown. This means that the learner at all stages makes responses and is given immediate knowledge of the results. So this is how the teaching is done in using program learning material. So after textbook supplementation, one of the major milestone happened in the evolution of educational technology support in higher education was the emergence of program learning material in education. Then came modular instruction using modular material. This is an alternative instructional design that uses developed instructional materials which are based on the needs of the students. So modular material is based on the need of the students. Here the students engage themselves in learning concepts presented in the module. They develop a sense of responsibility in accomplishing the task provided in the module. And the elements of these modules are designed based on the need of the students. Along with this modular material, online methods of teaching makes the latest form of educational methods. In online method, we use several educational platforms in online softwares and websites through which you can learn whatever you want, whenever you want, or wherever you want. Examples of such online methods are using Swayamprabha, MOOC courses, etc. So there are so many online courses available for students in online platform. So this is the very current milestone happened in educational technology support in higher education. So this is the correct sequence of evolution of educational technology. Textbook supplementation was the first, then came the program learning material, and then the latest, and then the milestone was modular material, and the latest online method. So this is the correct sequence. So the correct answer will be option B. Moving to the next question, question number 5 of teaching aptitude. From the list of learning outcomes indicated below, identify those which are said to be high-level outcomes. So here you have to identify the learning outcomes which can said to be high-level outcomes of teaching learning process. 6 codes are given: learning of facts and rules, showing the ability to analyze and synthesize, awareness, responding and valuing, imitation, manipulation and precision, articulation and naturalization, organization and characterization. So from these codes, you have to find out the learning outcomes which have a high level outcome. Repeat. So from these codes, you have to find out which are the learning outcomes which can start to be higher level outcomes of teaching learning process. High learning outcomes or high level outcomes simply means that it requires higher order cognitive skills which involve complex mental processes. So any student who's using higher cognitive skills will be using his or her maximum and complex mental ability and capacity in something. So higher order skill or higher level outcome simply means using complex mental processes. So you have to identify which are the correct option, which is an example of higher mental processes or complex mental processes. Learning of facts and rules, memorizing fact and rules or by hearting facts and rules. All of these are not an example of using complex mental processes, because we know by hearting and just memorizing things are not a feature of complex mental process. So definitely one will not be there in the answer. Then awareness, responding and valuing. What happens when we become aware of something, when we respond to something, or when we value something that we see or hear? All of these are happening in the conscious level of our learning process, which cannot be involving complex mental processes, because we can be aware about something without using our complex mental process. We can respond to something without even thinking. We can value anything we see or hear without further thinking about it. So, in awareness, responding, and valuing, there is no need for complex mental processes. So, this is also an incorrect one. Then, imitation, manipulation, and precision. What complex mental processes that you need to do imitation, manipulation, or precision of a material or something or a particular information? You can imitate, you can manipulate, and you can do precision in any material without thinking further or without using your complex or higher order mental processes. You don't need that here. So definitely this is an incorrect one. Now consider the other options. Showing the ability to analyze and synthesize. Analyzing and synthesizing is an example of higher order mental process or higher cognitive skill, which uses our complex mental processing. You have to use our maximum skill, complex mental process if you are analyzing something or if you are synthesizing something, if you are making something new. So it is beyond our thinking level, or it is beyond a normal level of thinking and functioning. So analysis and synthesizing is an example of higher level outcome. Then articulation and naturalization. Just like analysis and synthesis, articulation and naturalization also need our complex mental processing when doing. If you have to articulate something, if you have to naturalize something, it is beyond being aware or it is beyond being responding to something. It definitely uses complex mental processing. So articulation and naturalization is also an example of higher level outcome. Now, organization and characterization. If you have to organize a particular learning material or information that you have received through a teaching process, if you have to characterize those information, what you need is your cognitive skill. You have to use your maximum potential and maximum ideas and thinking capacities in order to organize and characterize something that you have already received. So, just like analysis, synthesis, articulation and naturalization, organization and characterization is also an example of higher level outcome. So simply, the learning outcome which can be set as a high level outcome will be, as in this question, showing the ability to analyze and synthesize, articulation and naturalization, organization and characterization. So all these can be considered as learning outcome which have a nature of higher level outcomes in a teaching learning process. So the correct answer will be option containing the codes 2, 5 and 6. That is option A. Moving to the next question, question number 6. This is the match the list question. Here you have given two sets, set 1 and set 2. Set 1 is about levels of teaching, different levels of teaching is given. And in set 2, focus of concern of those levels of teaching is given. You have to match the points of set 1 to the points of set 2. Now let's take a look. First, you have to thoroughly understand about levels of teaching before answering this question, because you can expect so many questions from this particular topic. Levels of teaching. Here, different levels of teaching is given in set 1. As we know, there are 3 different levels of teaching present: memory level, understanding level and reflective level. This is the level of teaching hierarchy that we have studied: memory level, understanding level and reflective level. When we consider this as a pyramid, the very base, it is memory level, and in the middle portion it is understanding level, and in the higher top portion it is the reflective level. So let's get a brief idea about these 3 levels of teaching. So the most thoughtless level of teaching is considered as the memory level of teaching, in which there is no need for thinking or any thought process. Memory level will be done just by using memorizing things. So just by memorizing and recalling things constitute the first level, memory level. Here, the student will not be thinking much about what is being taught by the teacher. The student will be focusing on just memorizing things without understanding it. That is what happens in the memory level. When it comes to the second level, understanding level, it is more than just memorizing things. It is memory plus insight. Having insight about what is taught by the teacher is what happens in the second level, understanding level. So just understand, this second level, understanding level, is not just about memorizing, but is also about being aware or having insight about something. Now moving to the topmost portion, reflective. It is the most thoughtful level of teaching, in which it is not just about memorizing or having insight about it, but also using one's logical capacity, one's imagination, one's intelligence and maximum cognitive capacities in order to study something. This higher level of learning occurs in the third level, reflective level. So in memory, it is all about memorizing things. In understanding level, it is all about memory plus being aware or having insight about something. And in reflective level, it is about using one's maximum potential and capacities in order to study something. So this is the basic idea about levels of teaching. Now getting back to the question, when you can analyze the set 1 and set 2, memory level, this B option of set 1 can be matched to 3 of set 2. Recall of facts and information. We have already discussed this. Memory level is all about memorizing and recalling what we have studied. So, memory level, recall of facts and informations. Now, understanding level. Understanding level can be matched to the 4 of set 2. Seeing of relationship among facts and their examples. That is how we become aware, or that is how we have insight about something. Seeing relationship among facts or information that have studied, that have taught by the teacher using examples. In memory level, there is no need for examples because we are just memorizing things. In understanding level, if you have to understand something, you have to use examples in order to understand that concept. So that is about understanding level. Now, what matches reflective level? We know reflective level is about using one's maximum potential and capacities, one's intelligence, logical capacity, logical reasoning, critical thinking, etc. So reflective level, the perfect match for reflective level in set 2 will be option 1, problem raising and problem solving. To raise a problem, to raise a research question, to generate possible solutions for problem solving, to make appropriate decisions in a situation, all of these are examples of reflective level in which you need your maximum capacities. You have to think critically. You have to use your logical reasoning capacity. That is how reflective level functions. So reflective level matches problem raising and problem solving. Now, the rest point in the set 1 is the autonomous development level. Autonomous development level can be referred as self-development level, which is all about affects and feelings of someone. We can easily match autonomous development level to affects and feelings. So what happens in autonomous development level? We know autonomous development focused on self-learning thing, so it definitely will not match to the pure learning option in set 2. That is why we have chosen the affects and feelings of set 2 with autonomous development level. Other than this particular level, reflective, understanding and memory, there is another concept which depicts about a different level of teaching, which is the autonomous development level. When compared with the other 3 levels, autonomous development level is some more student-centered. Here the teacher's function in the process of teaching is more negative than positive, in the sense that there is little or there is no leadership at all from the part of teacher. Not only leadership, there is no direction, coercion, or any prescription or imposition of student thought or behavior in a teaching process in autonomous development level. There is no role at all for teacher in autonomous development level. The teaching and the learning process completely carried by the student itself. So autonomous development level matches with the affects and feelings of a student or an individual in set 2. So this is how set 1 and set 2 matches in the question. So correct answer will be A2, B3, C4 and D1. The correct answer, option C. Moving to the next question, question number 7. This is an assertion reason question. Two statements are given. You have to read these statements carefully. Then you have to find out if the reason statement is the correct explanation of the assertion statement. Assertion statement states that if a teacher wants to improve his or her abilities as an effective classroom communicator, he or she should first understand the students. Reason B states that the ability to understand students and intended listening are disjoint propositions. So first let's take the assertion part. Assertion statement is about if a teacher wants to improve his or her abilities as an effective classroom communicator, he or she should first understand the students. It is a very simple statement we know which is true. A good teacher is an effective communicator. In order to communicate effectively or to convey ideas and information more effectively with the students, the teacher must understand the students first. Because knowing the audience helps in making the communication process much more interesting and thoughtful. So as we know, the given assertion statement is true. Now what about the reason statement? Reason states that the ability to understand students and intended listening are disjointed proposition. Is that true? It is false because the ability to understand students and intended listening are jointed prepositions, not disjointed preposition. These two statements, these two parts matches with each other. These are not disjointed preposition but jointed prepositions. Because listening effectively to the people will give more information and better understanding about the individual, in this case about students. So ability to understand as well as intended listening is interrelated, not unrelated. So we can say reason is a false statement. So the answer will be assertion is true and reason is false. Answer option C. So these are the 7 questions that have appeared in the question paper of 2nd December 2019, afternoon shift, the topic teaching aptitude.
So friends, that's all about the teaching aptitude questions that have appeared in the 2nd December 2019 afternoon shift. The coming episodes will be discussing more topics like research aptitude and communication. I hope your preparations are going well. You can avail so many materials and sample tests through our broadcast system. Currently, Diksha is providing broadcasts for the subjects like psychology, commerce, economics, social work and paper 1. If you are yet to join, you can send join to the numbers given. And if you want to know more about the online courses provided by Diksha, you can visit our page www.dikshaclassroom.com. Prepare well, do best. Thank you.